Today's a special little treat. I'm gonna knock 2 birds out with 1 stone. That sounds so violent. Anyway, so I'm gonna do my makeup and get ready, and I'm also gonna talk a little bit about mental health. And so this is for Monday, so I've decided to make it Mental Health and Makeup Mondays. Sorry, fellas, if it doesn't interest you. Go ahead and watch my other videos, or stick around. You might like to see the transformation. Anyway, let me get to it. Little disclaimer here, not a makeup artist, so please don't judge too much, all right? I don't have a proper setup either because not a makeup artist, again, but I'm gonna do my best. So for those of you who are new and just stopping by, hi, and welcome. My name is Keisha Martine, and I am a licensed therapist. And on this channel, I do my best to give you guys some things that might be helpful on your journey of self-improvement and for mental health. And I also, like to incorporate some humor here and there because, humor can help us digest the hard stuff. So, Mental Health Makeup Monday, yay! Woo! I was doing some thinking. I know, weird, right? And I thought that since I have done a few videos on toxic relationships, codependency, victim versus abuser, I figured it might be time to talk about the other side of things. Talk about red flags, talk about green flags. All right? So if you're looking for some helpful information on green flags, and this video is for you. So let me get started. Green flags. What are green flags? The opposite of red flags. That means go. Yes, we don't talk about this enough. All right, so the first green flag that I have for you is, and I'm guess you guys are smart. I'm sure you're gonna figure this out, but it's gonna be they respect your boundaries. They're gonna be like, all right, dude, no problem. You're not gonna have to explain yourself when you can't do something. All right, another green flag. They listen. They are able to reflect back to you what you're sharing with them. If they talk about other people in situations, conflicts, whatever the case may be, they are able to see that other person's perspective, right? And take into consideration what might be going on in their world. So it's not going to be all about me. That's a good sign if that person is reciprocal in their efforts that you make in terms of keeping up communication, seeing one another, all things. Another one is that they follow through with what they tell you. It could be something as simple as they agree to pick something up for you. And when they meet with you, they don't have it, right? And of course, 1 or 2 times, not a big deal. But this is something that you want to be mindful of if it keeps happening over and over again, all right? That might suggest that they're kind of absent-minded or they're not really thinking of you. Now, I gotta clarify. For some people, it just means they're distracted, and a lot of times they might have ADHD and such. So if they make an effort to remind themselves or set a reminder or things like that, then that's a good sign, right? Because they're aware of the areas they might need to make accommodations for and to be mindful of. So not an excuse if that person has ADHD, okay? You can do things to make sure that you follow through with what you gotta follow through for. Just something to think about. Another one that's a green flag is if they demonstrate compassion for other people, they demonstrate empathy, which kind of goes back to what I was saying in terms of being able to kind of see your perspective. That's a good sign. And not just with you, all right? With other people. So they're able to understand other people's perspectives and whatnot. And, they're pretty accepting that other people have flaws that they need to work on, all things. And usually you'll observe how they are with like service people and whatnot. And if you find that they're polite and they say thank you, all the things, they don't treat them less than, it's probably a good sign. Now, a time or two, I haven't said thank you to a couple servers, but it's because I was distracted when I was talking. But I made sure that I said thank you later. So, something to think about. All right, so I'm used to doing my eyes first, but I got a little nervous doing this on camera, so forgive me if it's just messy. Another thing that's a good sign is if there is a conflict, you guys are able to discuss it. You're able to listen to one another respectfully, and if one of you gets angry or frustrated, they're able to manage it quite well. They don't react negatively, right? And that goes for you too, right? You need to be mindful of that. You guys can have conflict and work through it and grow from it. So that's a good sign. Yes, that brings me to the next one. They're able to manage their temper, all right? They don't let their temper get out of control. If they're upset, they're able to say, hey, I'm upset right now, or my feelings are hurt, or I need a minute to like process this because I'm pissed off. All right. So adulting, basically. All right. They're able to adult around you, not become a child suddenly when they aren't getting their way. So not throwing tantrums. Good sign. I feel like I need more concealer, but I don't think any amount of concealer is going to hide these 41-year-old bags under my eyes. Anyway, here's another good sign. They want to meet your family and friends. They get along with your family and friends. Your family and friends seem to like them, and they're not any different around them than they are around you. And I mean at the extreme end, right? So if you notice, they're super charming and the life of the party when they're around your friends and family, but when it comes to you, they might be withdrawn, stolen, completely different person. Probably not a good sign. Now, of course, our intimate partners, our close friends might be a little different with us in terms of how much they share. Not a bad thing, but you want to look for those big signs. They're just, generally getting along with people that are important to you. All right, it's probably a good sign. Now, I will probably do this video again just because, some people might not give a damn about me putting on my makeup. So keep a look out for that. And I will also expand on this a little further later on. So keep that in mind. If this is boring you, come back. Okay? Right then. I'm going to move on to my eye makeup. Let's see what a mess I can make out of this. Hopefully it'll end up better than last time. Another green flag is if they see you for who you are. You don't have to prove to them who you are. You don't feel constantly on edge, like you have to show this person who you are. Also, they appreciate your qualities and who you are. They call you out on your nonsense in a productive way, but in general, they accept you for who you are, and they demonstrate that through their words and how they behave around you. So, another good flag. In case you're wondering, I'm using the camera as a mirror because I don't have a mirror, so that's why my eyes are shifting back and forth. I don't know if I said this already because I didn't script this. Not that I ever really do, but anyway. So they also will respect your time, right? They don't expect you to spend all of your time with them. They realize that you have other friends and family that are important to you, and they, in fact, encourage you to spend time with your friends and family. That's a good sign, right? Not to the point where you're like, well, do they not want to spend time with me? But they typically encourage you, like if you haven't seen your family and friends in a while, if you haven't talked to them in a while, they say, hey, why don't you give your mom a call? How's she doing? They ask about your friends and family. Also another good sign. So keep a lookout for that one. That's like a go. Ding, 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 ding. Right? All right. Now, I'm going to say this. I feel like I'm a broken record sometimes. Is that this is consistency over time, people. Okay? It's not just a few times that they do these things, all right? You're looking for these things consistently over time. So let me tell you, if you've only known that person a month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, there's no way in hell you're gonna know if they're characterized by these green flags I'm talking about. So all you people out there that has this love fantasy where you just meet, fall in love in 2 weeks and you just all the things, like, come on, you need to be real, all right? Not to say that it doesn't really happen, because there are some people that are just genuinely that way, and over time you see it. But you gotta be careful, all right? Because some people like to pull the wool over your eyes at the beginning, and then they slowly become more and more of an asshole. And then all you're doing is thinking about how they were at the beginning. That's gonna keep you sucked in, right? You're focused on whining and dining or all the new relationship energy, and you're just focused on that, and you're living in the past, honey. All right, so that's something to look out for, okay? If you see all of the things that I've talked about so far consistently over time, good sign, okay? So, but you gotta give it time to figure that out, right then. Okay, here's another one. If they've had some relationships that didn't work out, friendships or otherwise, they don't badmouth the other person. So you will see them discuss, like, their reasons behind the breakup. They'll talk about it in a way where they're compassionate about that person. If they're able to talk about it and share with you their experiences without trying to make themselves look like a saint. Basically, they're owning their shit and their part in it. All right? It's probably a good sign. All right, here's another good sign. That they get along with their family for the most part. I mean, we all got our broken bulbs on the tree in our family. So they're able to get along for the most part with their family. They make efforts to get along with their family, and they set boundaries with their family when they need to. All right, now here's a good one also to think about as well. Their work relationships are good. They don't have a high level of conflict at work. And that's basically, I feel like I'm repeating myself. That's basically what you want to look out for in terms of green flags. Like if you see that they're pretty steady in different areas of their life, that's a good sign. All right. Again, we all have conflicts here and there, but over time, if there's something that person's always complaining about, they haven't worked through, they're not making efforts to change on some level, probably not a good idea. So another good sign is that they encourage you, they support you in your efforts, and they celebrate your successes, and they're there to encourage you when you haven't done so well or when you failed at something. They work to help you see your strengths when you're down. All right, those are good signs. Thanks for bearing with me. Also, thanks for not judging me ahead of time. So another thing to keep in mind is that they don't overly criticize you, right? They're gentle in their correction. You know, they demonstrate appreciation when you are making efforts to work on the things that they bring to your attention. So they don't throw a tantrum or get, you know, crazy when you don't immediately change a certain thing that bothers them. So like they might say something like, sometimes I feel like you're not listening to me when you are doing something. And so they recognize that that might be something that's difficult for you, right? But if they see that you're making an effort to like stop, take a breath, pay attention to what they have to say, that's a good thing, right? They're being patient. They're also being accepting while also calling you on your bullshit. So, which brings me to my next point. So they're aware of things they have to change. They're aware of the things they need to work on. They realize they're not perfect, and they listen when you bring things up with them, and they don't get like super angry or super defensive. And if they do, they'll immediately like bring it down to earth and have an adult conversation. All right, because we all have tendency to get defensive about things that we know we need to work on. So the fact that they're thinking about things they have to work on is a good sign. And they're aware of it, they're mindful in it, and you actually see them working on it. All right, none of this like a couple times here, a couple times there, and then it cycles back around, and then they forget they have to work on the thing. All right, so pay attention to that. Really good green flag if they are acknowledging their faults that they have to work on. I'm not really sure how this is looking because I'm not used to doing this on camera. I did it once before and it felt like a hot mess. So hopefully I have some better success this time. Oh, here's another one. They have goals and aspirations. They're not completely, totally fine with the status quo. Obviously, you know, you want people to be comfortable and settled at some point in time, but you notice that they are wanting to improve themselves in different areas, whether it might be reading more or finishing a project or finishing school. They're motivated and they're hard workers. That's a good sign. And another one, they're not overly dependent on anybody to do any kind of thing. Right? They're able to take care of themselves. You don't have to hold their hand with things that they need to know as an adult. I guess this would be the same for people that are dating in their teens, that, you know, you're not finding like you have to come and rescue and fix and do all the things. So they're able to do that. They're confident in their abilities to do that. And, you know, they're able to ask for help when they need to, but in general, they're not asking someone to do it for them. They're taking responsibility for their stuff. Good sign. You see, this is why I always do my eye makeup first. Now I'm gonna have to do that again. Pain in the ass. All right, so I know this is off topic, but who out there are my fellow Gen Xers? I really want to hear from you. Apparently, nobody knows about us. So we are really the forgotten and the lost generation. I need to connect with my Gen Xers. All right. Let me know. All right, so I hope so far you are enjoying this content, and if you are, then you know what I'm gonna say. Subscribe to the channel. Right then. All right, some other signs that are good signs. Let's talk about that, shall we? They have good boundaries as well. All right, they're able to tell you no when they need to say no. That is a good sign. You know, we don't want someone that is completely compromising themselves for our sakes or what they feel like we need. You know, they are taking care of themselves in terms of being able to say no when they need to say no, or that they need to do it another time or not right now, all the things. So if they have boundaries, that's good. Oh, I just remembered another one. So another one could be like, you notice that they also congratulate other people that are in their lives when they've been successful about something. They're genuinely happy for them. They're supportive of them. They're there and they're part of that cheering section. So if you notice that they're doing that, it's a good sign. And if you notice that they're being envious, jealous, or, well, I could have done that if, or, oh my gosh, it's not that big a deal, probably not a good sign. So, sorry, I got off track. We're talking about green flags, not red flags. But I think it's kind of implied that if it's office, it's probably not a good idea. I got to fix this under here. But whatever. Well, we'll see. I'll be right back. All right, here's another one. They're not perpetually late. This is really important. We're all guilty of being late from time to time, but we're not perpetually late. That's really important. You know, again, kind of goes back to respecting someone's time. All right, so have I missed anything so far? If I have, let me know down in the comments, and I will revisit this topic later as well. Another one is they are honest with where they are at in terms of relationships. They let you know what they're able to commit to and what they're not. Now, don't go back and forth, all right? So you have to be honest with yourself about what you want and where you're at. And if this person's saying, I'm not there, you got to listen, all right? And if they're not there, they're going to tell you, hey, I'm not ready for this, or whatever the case may be. And they're not going to string you along, all right? So that's a good thing if they are honest with where they are in terms of a relationship with you. And of course, I'm talking about that romantically, but it also goes for friends, I think. You know, a friend needs to be honest with you about the time they're able to offer you and be there and all the things. The other thing to think about too is that you are not afraid to ask for emotional support. You know that person's going to be receptive of what you might need. And they'll also be able to tell you, like, okay, maybe I can't talk about this right now because I've got all this going on, but they come back around and they hold space for you when they're not emotionally drained. So they're able, again, to recognize their boundaries where they need to set boundaries, but they're also making efforts to be there for you. That's a really good sign. Another one is that you're able to observe how they feel. You don't feel like they're restraining themselves constantly about what they're actually feeling about things. You know, you can see that they're connected to what they feel and they're able to articulate it to you. So kind of going back to what I was saying, conflict resolution, if they're angry about something, they could say, I'm angry about this, right? Or I'm upset about this. But also you're able to see vulnerable sides as well. So, you know, if someone is sad, you'll be able to see, okay, yeah, this person's sad. You're not constantly having to guess what they're feeling because they're talking to you. They're communicating with you. Maybe not right in that moment, but they're communicating with you. That's important. Okay. And basically the best thing to look out for is if they're genuine, if they're real. You know, if you feel like this person is grounded, solid, what you see is what you get, and you're not constantly having guests, it's probably a good sign. All right, here we have the final look. What do you guys think? Well, thanks for watching. Hope you found it helpful. Make sure, if you enjoyed this content, to like this video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything else. And until next time, be well, be strong, and be love. Not bad, not bad, not bad.